Hello everyone, Zach here with today's Age of Empires random map video. Today we're looking at RPK Dogao. I don't know how to pronounce it really. Dogao, who knows. He's playing in red as Huns, and his opponent's TheViper in yellow as Huns also. And this map is coastal, I do believe. It's a large landmass with water around the outside. Okay, so important to note then with this kind of map that you're going to have to find a balance somewhere between both water control and land control, because we all know that whenever there's water on a map, these players will usually fight for water control, and it makes sense that they do that as well, because obviously the water can provide a lot of resources, it can provide access routes to the back of their base, and all sorts of other stuff like that. But also on this map, because you've got this center area that there's no water in between the two people, or the two players even, it's quite important to be able to have a land force as well and find a nice balance between both water and land. So it's going to be interesting to see which player can find that balance the best and use it to their advantage. This is a best of 3 series between these two players, and I'll reveal the result of the best of 3 at the end of this. And yeah, so we've already seen TheViper playing quite a lot because his recordings are very easy to come by, and he does a lot of games with recording turned on, obviously, and that means that we can find a lot of Viper recordings. And also, I kind of want to show you some Viper gameplay because obviously when I get back to uni and I can do some live streaming, it's going to be nice that you are familiar with the player that I'm going to be live streaming with. So that's pretty much it on that front for the time being, and I will talk some random nonsense for a little bit before the game starts getting underway. as usual, as we all know. Yeah, so recently I've not been playing very well actually. I was playing really well at one point, and then suddenly it all just kind of went wrong, and I lost a load of games, and now my rating's back to normal, which is about equal losses to wins. So I'm interested to know what's your rating. And for some reason, every time I do a recording, it freezes at least once. But we're back, and we're all good. Okay, so in the comments below, what is your rating on Voobly? And if you don't play on Voobly, what do you think your rating is? For instance, your win-to-loss ratio or something like that. I'll tell you, mine now is probably 1,600. I'm not an amazing player, I'm just average, and I wouldn't say I was a complete noob either. So I would safely say that my rating is 1,600. At the moment I'm about 1,500 and something, but I've not played that many games on my ZeroEmpires account. So there we go then, dogao now transitioning into the Feudal Age, and with that getting very much on wood, trying to take out Viper's scout there. Very, very close to doing so indeed. In fact, if he'd stayed in there a little bit longer he would have done. But dogao now transitioning into a lot of wood and a bit more gold as well, because obviously he's going to be getting some galleys out as soon as he advances. A second dock there as well. And I must say, one of my biggest weaknesses is water maps. I find it so hard to get the balance right between economy, land units, and also water units. At the end of the day, though, if you don't manage to get water control, it's not the end of the world. You can still land a ship as long as your opponent hasn't got you surrounded. But once you're on an island and you're surrounded, you're pretty much screwed in the sense that unless you can get a large enough land force to hold off anything that your opponent's going to throw at you, there's not really a lot you can do to go across to their island and start an offensive. On this map, though, dogao. His gold is quite far away from his town centre. I wouldn't say that the Viper was that much further away with his gold, but obviously harassment is an issue. At the moment, though, it does seem like these two players are focusing on their water control, and galleys coming out from both players, as we can see. dogao producing galleys as fast as he can and getting them out on the water. Really, at the moment, though, we've not got anything in the way of military on the ground. We've got blacksmith going up there for dogao, and as far as the Viper is concerned, he's not got anything on the land either. And it always makes me wonder, whether actually going for water control is the best thing to do, because if Dogao had already got some archers out and gone straight across the map and harassed this wood, well, would the Viper be able to produce any ships then or not? And I don't think he would. So I'm going to be looking at some more water maps in the coming weeks and seeing lots of different strategies that can be used, especially on this map, as there is quite an equal amount of water and land battles going on. So Dogao forcing the Viper back, but the Viper does outnumber him. And as you can see there, he's using the formations to split his units, and it's not so common on the water to do that, but this is actually a really nice tactic to use. Unfortunately, I can't show you down in the bottom left the formation controls, but if you've got a load of land units, say you've got infantry, and you're up against some onagers, or even better, cavalry, you don't want to take any hits from the onagers because they do so much damage. So what you can do is you can get your cavalry, or your infantry, and you go to attack the onager. And just as the onager fires, you change your formation into split formation, into two groups. Your units will then split off left and right, and I think you'll see the Viper do it again in a minute. They'll split off left and right, and the onager fire will miss you altogether, and then you can go and hit the onagers because they can't hit you at that range. It's quite a nice tactic to use, and actually I'll make sure that I use that in another game that I play and show you myself playing, because it's actually a really nice one to use. As you saw there, I don't know if you actually saw that, but dogao with a very nice little tactic on the wolf. What you can do is you can actually place a palisade onto the wolf and not build it, and the wolf gets stuck there, and it means that your villagers won't get attacked by the wolf, which is quite nice. And here we go then. So now the Viper kind of going to more land, and dogao trying to wall off with some archery ranges, makes sense. And he's also walling off quite interestingly with gates here, and some stone walls to come as well. Another gate right here. So dogao is very focused on the water at the moment. He doesn't want any harassment from the Viper on the mainland. And at the moment it's hard to tell who is in the lead on the water. I'd possibly say dogao by the fact that his score is quite a lot higher actually. And if dogao is able to take out the force of the Viper, as you can see, look, there was the split, and then coming back into the middle, and then split. That's done by changing the formation of his ships. But I think the Viper is outnumbering. In fact, it's hard to tell, unless we see, like this, which is a bit hard to do. Yeah, the Viper is actually outnumbering dogao, but dogao has got more reinforcements on the water to come up, and the Viper is now transitioning to land. Whether he's going to be able to do too much with this force, I don't know. It looks like dogao is outnumbered there. A little bit slow to react to the Viper's men, and the Viper having to kind of flee that little attack there. He is outnumbered. Of course, being outnumbered isn't just a case of running away. You're going to have to obviously produce a lot more units to combat the fact that you are outnumbered. And the Viper is probably going to be doing exactly that. 3 archery ranges up there, another one on the way, and dogao only with 2. So it looks like the Viper is going to go quite heavily into land units and try and do as much damage as he can to the land and take out dogao. Why do I keep saying dogao? Take out dogao's economy. As we see by the score then, dogao is slightly higher. I don't know whether that's because he's got more wins or losses on the water. Who knows? Does look like the Viper has got an equal number of ships actually at this stage, and really once all the fish has been taken up, there's not that much point in having water control anyway, other than the fact that you can land units at the back of your opponent's base. The Viper then, as we can see, into the castle age first, which means she's probably going to be getting the galley upgrade with the war galley. There we go, that's already being researched for him, and once that is complete, he's going to want to go straight down and try and take out dogao's men while he has the advantage. There we go, so there's the upgrade for him. If he can engage dogao now, he's going to have a very nice advantage on the water. Dogao, no doubt, going to be getting this upgrade himself, hence why he's retreating. And there we go, war galley 60% for him. So if he can evade engagement until he's got this upgrade, then he won't lose as many boats, but Viper retreating anyway, he knows that dogao probably outnumbers him, and I think he probably does as well. So what's happening on the mainland? We've got the Viper already with crossbowmen and skirmishes out, and dogao not really with that much. He's got some cavalry archers on the way, but he's definitely outnumbered on the ground. Although saying that, I didn't spot this little army over here, managing to take out a villager over there of the Viper, but he's now outnumbered on the ground, and he could be facing a little bit of trouble if he gets on the wrong side of that army there. The Viper, I don't know whether he's actually going to be going aggressive on the water or not. He keeps just patrolling up and down. I'm interested to see who's going to win the water. But for now, it looks like the Viper is firmly in control of the ground. And there we go, taking out dogao's army. And he's going to probably go and attack this area here. This is the weakest area in the wall-off. Obviously, stone walls are fairly strong compared to buildings at this stage, a lot less HP on the buildings and easier to take out. Mangonel's coming in from the Viper, and now dogao's going to have to react to that, and he's going to have to react quite quickly because Mangonel's going to take out the archery range pretty quick as well. There's no way he's got enough soldiers there to deal with the Viper's army, and the Viper is looking pretty strong at the moment. An engagement up on the water here though, and now who can actually win this? It looks like the Viper, although it's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell until it's all over and done with, because the units of the dogao are very, very compacted together, and a couple of reinforcements from the back, a couple more coming up as well, and it's so close. Who is going to take the water? It looks like dogao, judging by his score, and all of these boats just getting absolutely decimated, all those resources gone. However, dogao just clinging on to that. That was a very, very close battle, and dogao with quite a few damaged ships there, and the Viper left with none. The Viper also, interestingly, has no fishing ships left. I don't know whether he's took them out somewhere, but now dogao is going to be able to harass a little bit at the bottom. However, we kind of missed that, but dogao managed to get his stone wall up there. I mean, even a stone wall isn't going to last that long against these mangonels. There's 3 mangonels for the Viper, and dogao is going to have to come up with something to combat this, because he's pretty far behind with the ground army at the moment. He is queuing up plenty of cavalry archers, however, but if they do get caught out of position against the mangonels, that is not going to be good for him. And here we go, that villager just trying to create an extra wall up, and mangonels of dogao doing a little bit of damage. Actually no, they took out quite a lot of the Viper's men. However, dogao probably hasn't seen this army up here, and the Viper's unit control is absolutely excellent. This mangonel managing to take out 1, 2 and 3 of dogao's mangonels. So the Viper with extra special, I don't even know why I said extra special, but great micromanagement of those mangonels there. And now dogao has got water control, but it's not that much use to him because there's not that many fish left in the sea, and there's not a great deal of harassment he can do at the back of the Viper's base. He's managed to take out a couple of villagers, but the harassment coming in isn't going to be crucial to the game really. So now, the Viper coming in with cavalry archers, and I think he's outnumbering dogao, but dogao was quick to get up some archery ranges, and now he's kind of realising, that's not so good. The Viper is in my base with a lot of cavalry archers, and I'm outnumbered. So, Castle Age then, and we've not seen the Elite Skirmisher upgrade, but now Viper has seen that dogao is going cavalry archer. He's probably going to upgrade them fairly soon. Not looking good for dogao though, losing quite a lot of villagers in this attack, and he's still outnumbered army-wise. These mangonels have been very poor for dogao. He's not micromanaged them very well, but he is forcing the Viper out of his base. Still with some harassment at the back then, and almost losing another village there, but I don't think that's really going to prove that crucial to him at the moment. The Viper is still firmly, well, pretty strong on the ground. Now I think it's more important to focus on economy whilst protecting this choke point. Let's have a look at their economies actually. We've got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, about 80 villagers there for dogao, and the Viper Wow, okay. The Viper has very few villagers. This is actually really interesting. The Viper's got 10, 20, 30, 50. Yeah, the Viper is really far behind with the villagers. I don't know how that's actually happened, but dogao has actually got a really great economy at this stage in the game. He's a good 20 villagers ahead of the Viper, and he's got quite a lot of town centres out as well, actually. They're all over the place, and dogao has no doubt been really working on his economy this whole time. And I think really it's just proven as a distraction. And the Viper is now, although having the advantage with army count, he's now looking in a troubled spot because obviously dogao has got an army advantage, economy advantage. So here we go with two castles, and it looks like the Viper got his up first as it's on higher HP, and dogao is just keeping this point safe. However, here comes another attack from these cavalry archers, and there's more coming in. What has dogao got? Not a lot, really. He has got well, a very large economy, so to speak. And again, that mangonel pretty much doing a very bad job, and I think dogao probably needs to work on his micromanagement a little bit. Another castle trying to get up there for dogao, but in comes the cavalry archers, and it's fine having an amazing economy, but it's not so good if you're just going to get absolutely cut to bits because your opponent's got a lot better army than you. And personally, I've found this a lot because I've been playing pretty bad recently, and I've gone really heavy into economy, and then my opponent has just absolutely kicked my ass because they've got an army at 30 minutes and I haven't. However, dogao advancing to the Imperial Age, the Viper still in the Castle Age, and it doesn't look like it's anywhere near to the Imperial Age. In fact, hang on. dogao then, into the Imperial. Castle for the Viper, but look at his resources, he's nowhere near 1,000 food, and he's invested very heavily into this army. So if dogao can hold this army off, and he might just be able to do that, it's going to be close, but he is going elite skirmisher, he's got more cavalry archers from the back, and if dogao can just hold this army off, dogao is really going to get into the lead now because he is going Imperial, and that's going to give him a technological advantage, not to mention the fact that his economy has hardly been harassed this whole game. It's important to remember that, really. dogao's economy is extremely strong right now. Okay, so in just a few seconds, we're going to have dogao advancing to the Imperial Age, and now look at his score jump. An extra 400 added straight on there, and that's purely because he's now going to have a lot of extra technology available to him, and it should give him a quick advantage until the Viper can actually get there. Whether he's going to be thinking about advancing now because he does have this army lead, I'm not so sure. And once again, excellent micro by the Viper. Just his mangonel fire is absolutely brilliant. That mangonel has stayed alive for so long, and it's taken out so many units. It would be nice, actually, if we had a little kill counter for it, and that would be actually quite a cool little addition to the game, if they could add a kill counter at some point to say how many kills a certain unit has. Would be very nice indeed. So I don't know what's going to happen now. dogao is going to have to react pretty quickly. The Viper is advancing to the Imperial Age at last, but dogao suddenly, I don't know where these have come from, I'm assuming, well, these 3 siege workshops, but he's definitely gone very heavily into catch rams. I can only assume that he's going to be upgrading these 2 siege rams in a moment. Whether that's already on the way, I don't know. He's not getting enough food for that just yet. And that's a lot of cat rams right there. He's going to be able to do a hell of a lot of damage. However, dogao is forced to be using skirmishes at the moment. Not a very effective unit. Even though we've seen Doubt a million times, I've said this, kicking ass with elite skirmishes, they're not extremely effective. They're very immobile, and although they're going to be able to take out cavalry archers quite nicely, we've got stables here from the Viper, and he's going to be producing either knights or something along those lines to take these out with little or no problem at all. However, for the first time this game so far, dogao has actually pushed out his base, and he's now kind of looking pretty threatening to the Viper. Upgrades are going to be in favour of dogao. As we can see there, he's fully upgraded these skirmishes, and upgrades, as I said before, just so important to swing the tide of a battle. Siege rams already being researched for dogao, and dogao now using this really strong economy to get those upgrades on as quick as possible, and to do as much damage as he possibly can. Wow, he can. Excuse me. My alarm's going off. Turn it off. There we go. One sec. There we go. Okay. So, dogao now really rapidly expanding. His population capped himself, and considering he's not got a very large army at all, in fact, where is his army? It's just here. That must mean he's got one hell of a large economy. And we can see that by looking over here. Wow, 40, 80, 90, 120, 130, about 140 villages for dogao. And looking at the Viper, only 100. So still at this stage in the game, dogao has got an extra 20 villages on the map, and it means that dogao is going to be able to push it to his advantage. His army is much smaller, but he's going to be able to produce units at a lot better, a lot faster rate, and he's going to be able to wear the Viper down. Technologically now, though, the Viper is going to have catched up, and dogao is now going to be forced to use his economy advantage. As we can see, heavy cavalry archers for dogao, only cavalry archers for the Viper, and Partherian tactics researched for those as well, which gives them an extra attack, I think. And as we can see, this technological upgrade advantage is giving dogao a really large, powerful force to use against the Viper. Just have a look at the full map, and it really does still amaze me how at 52 minutes in, these players are still just absolutely expanding everywhere. It's crazy. I only wish that one day I could play like this. As we can see though, dogao hasn't collected any relics, and it really is important to collect relics when you can. As you can see, there's one up there, there's one down here as well. It surprises me he's not collected them. If he had, he would have been able to probably have an even bigger advantage at this stage. However, dogao has got the fully upgraded army right now. He's got siege rams heading straight into the Viper's base. The Viper then, with hussars and elite skirmishes, there is no chance that the Viper is going to be able to do much about this. dogao, look how much resource he's got. He's got 1,000 gold, 2,800 food. The Viper then with pretty much nothing. So this is what Viper's got, just this. But dogao can keep producing more men. And looking at the population, 148 to 196, suddenly dogao has just taken the lead, and it's kind of come from nowhere. It did seem like the Viper had the lead the majority of this game, but dogao just suddenly, just coming out of his base, and there we go, just absolutely killing everything in his way. That castle going to be going down, as we can see, trebuchets coming in, and more military production buildings the whole time. And I don't think the Viper is going to be able to come back from this, and unless you can do something special, which usually isn't the case, because once you're in this situation with no gold, it's pretty hard to get out of it. Harassment from dogao into the economy, galleons pounding the shores, and the Viper having to give it up. And that was quite an interesting game, really, because although dogao had water control, and we always say how important getting the water control is, although he had the water control, it still surprises me that the Viper was so far behind late game. He just seemed to stop creating villages by the looks of it, or he just didn't focus on economy as much as he should have done. And dogao, no doubt, did go very heavily into economy, but the Viper had such a large army advantage early on in the game that I thought the Viper could actually take it. So quite a surprising victory for dogao there. And this, as I said, was a best of 3 series, and the Viper did win the series 2-1. This was the win for dogao in that series, and it was a good win at that. It was quite a long game, and dogao definitely deserved to win it. He played great that game, and I'm interested to see more from him in the future. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.